Unless you're an absolute novice on all things MMA, then the name Israel Adesanya should ring a few bells. The mixed martial arts superstar has gotten a lot of attention since his meteoric rise to fame in the middleweight division. Today, we're going to dive into the life of the Nigerian-born New Zealander to uncover 10 facts you didn't know about Israel Adesanya. Before we begin, remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all things MMA. This isn't a secret, and most people already know this, but plenty of people are still confused about his nationality. The Stylebender is always proud of his roots, and if you watched a few of his fights, you should have seen his flags a couple of times. Israel Adesanya was born to an accountant and a nurse in 1989 in the Nigerian city Lagos. In 2001, his parents moved the family to a neighboring country before migrating to New Zealand by the time he was 10. They settled down in Rotorua, New Zealand, and he attended Rotorua Boys High School. Growing up, Adesanya wasn't the biggest kid around, so the kids at his high school gave him a tough time. Throughout his career, he has had to confront and overcome physical and psychological hurdles on his path to success. Growing up as a black kid in New Zealand was hard, and Adesanya has talked about the racism he faced from kids and adults. But he never let it weigh him down, and by age 21, Adesanya moved to Auckland, New Zealand. It was in Auckland that he began training in mixed martial arts under Eugene Behrman at City Kickboxing, with future UFC fighters such as Dan Hooker, Kai Kara France, and current UFC featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski. If this sounds like a joke, then we're glad to tell you that Adesanya might have ended up picking dance class, and we would have never gotten to see the Stylebender in action. Dancing came naturally to him, and he just loved showing the world the moves he spent hours perfecting. His academic prowess and a love of dancing made him a further target for abuse. Looking back at his time in high school, Adesanya has told the media that the challenges he faced because of the things he loved made him who he is today. He's always been an advocate for kids with lofty dreams, and he still gives us snippets of his killer dance moves every once in a while. When you listen to the stories of most fighters, one thing they have in common is discovering their love for the ring from an early age. This wasn't the case for Adesanya. Being raised by migrants, he never had the luxuries most people had growing up. He only started training consistently when he took up kickboxing at the age of 18. After watching the Muay Thai movie Ong Bak, Adesanya was hooked, and it sparked his interest in martial arts. Adesanya never let his lack of experience get to him, and it didn't take too long before he got the hang of fighting. In no time, Adesanya went from an amateur novice to amassing a 32-0 amateur record. The Muay Thai movie might have pushed him to kickboxing, but his run-in with bullies also played an important role in shaping his character and career. Khamzat Chimaev, aka Boars, has quickly become a household name in MMA, inspiring fans from all over the world with his incredible style. But Israel Adesanya isn't a fan. Beef in UFC and mixed martial arts aren't a new thing, and the fans love it when two ferocious fighters go back and forth online before they step into the ring. Khamzat Chimaev has made it clear that he wants to fight for a world title next, whether at welterweight or middleweight. Boars, currently ranked 3rd in the 170-pound division, recently took to Twitter to call out Kamaru Usman and Israel Adesanya, who are the reigning welterweight and middleweight champions, respectively. Khamzat Chimaev has had an astonishing career, and he isn't one to back down from a fight. Who knows, maybe one day we'll get to see Stylebender square up against Boars. His record of 20 professional MMA wins in a row without a loss sits 4th on the all-time list behind Renan Barru, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Jon Jones. Adesanya has had one hell of a career, and his stats speak for themselves. He won the interim middleweight belt at UFC 236 against Kelvin Gastelum in April 2019. He unified it against Robert Whittaker in October 2019, and then defended it for the first time against Yoel Romero in March 2020. Adesanya went on to successfully defend his middleweight belt 3 times, which shows how much of a beast he is. The only blemish to his otherwise sparkling career is his defeat to former light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz. It looks like Stylebender has put his defeat in the past, and he's only focused on future fights. In combat sports like MMA, the notion of performance-enhancing drugs or PEDs is frowned upon by all. Israel Adesanya has had a blistering career, so we weren't too shocked when the accusations of performance-engaging drugs came up. IFBB bodybuilder and fitness YouTuber Greg Doucette took it upon himself to call Stylebender out for ped use after he defended his UFC middleweight title against Paulo Costa. In all honesty, Greg Doucette wasn't the only one with concerns after watching Adesanya dominate Costa in the octagon. Some fans singled out Adesanya's visible gynecomastia as proof that he cheated with drugs, but the accusations never stuck. Adesanya was able to clear the air and prove to the mixed martial arts world that he doesn't need to cheat to be one of the best. We already know that his parents moved around before choosing New Zealand as their new home. But most people don't know that he could have been an American. His parents considered relocating their family to the United States, but after careful consideration, they decided to go with New Zealand. And the rest is history. Who knows? In another universe, Israel Adesanya might have migrated to the United States, adding his name to the already impressive lineup of fighters the country has produced. You might look at Israel Adesanya and see a towering brute that decimates his opponents in the octagon. But on the inside, Adesanya is just like the average guy, and his love for anime is all the proof you need. He's a die-hard anime fan, even going as far as coining his nickname from an anime. His nickname, the Last Stylebender, is a nod to the famous cartoon series The Last Airbender. And that's not all. He also does anime poses before fights, using it to rule his opponents up. Israel Adesanya's pre-fight antics prior to defeating Robert Whittaker garnered almost as much praise as his performance. Adesanya notably did a whole dance routine during his entrance before knocking out Whittaker in round 2. His dance routine also included writing Whittaker's name in a book, which is a nod to a supernatural anime called Death Note. When most people hear the name Israel Adesanya, his kickboxing and UFC career is the first thing that comes to mind. But only the real OGs know that he had a brief boxing run. Before he tore up the octagon, the Stylebender had 6 professional boxing bouts. Following on from his successful kickboxing career, and just before he joined the UFC. During that run, he had a record of 5 wins and 1 loss before making his way to UFC in 2018. Israel Adesanya is one of the best strikers in the game, so he would have been fun to watch in the ring. Israel Adesanya's rise to the top of the mixed martial arts scene has been thrilling, and it looks like he isn't going to slow down for anyone. Comment below if you know something about Izzy the Stylebender that we missed. Thanks for watching.